For those who have campaigned for press reform, this morning could hardly have been a more important moment. In to read the report came the Dowlers, whose daughter Millie was murdered and who then had to endure a grotesque invasion of their family's privacy. Kate McCann, whose suffering at the hands of the media is pretty well known, and the likes of Hugh Grant, who don't elicit sympathy in all quarters and don't ask for it, but want reform all the same. They must have been uplifted by Lord Justice Leveson's report because he flayed the press without mercy. Editors and proprietors had, he said, let themselves down.
Unfortunately, as the evidence has shown beyond doubt, on too many occasions, those responsibilities, along with the editor's code of conduct, which the press wrote and promoted, have simply been ignored. This has damaged the public interest, caused real hardship and, on occasion, wreaked havoc in the lives of innocent people.
A free press was vital, he said, but
I know of no organised profession, industry or trade in which the serious failings of the few are overlooked or ignored because of the good done by the many. Were it so, in any other case, the press would be the very first to expose such practices.
He proposed that the press should continue to choose its own regulating body, commensurate with some guidelines, that the body should be properly independent, that its independence should be judged by Ofcom, which currently regulates broadcasters, and that any newspaper that refused to sign up to it would be regulated by Ofcom anyway. Lord Justice Leveson has spent a long time on this report, and his message to the politicians was pretty clear. Don't you dare put it in the bin.
This is the 7th time in less than 70 years that these issues have been addressed. No one can think that it makes any sense to contemplate an 8th.
Unfortunately for him, an hour and a half later, David Cameron rained on his parade very hard.
Now, I have some serious concerns and misgivings on this recommendation. They break down into issues of principle, practicality and necessity. The issue of principle is that for the first time we would have crossed the Rubicon of writing elements of press regulation into the law of the land.
He got the support of quite a few Tory backbenchers, but Ed Miliband threw down the gauntlet.
Can I say straight away that in the days and weeks ahead I will be seeking to convince him and this House of Commons that we should put our faith in the recommendations of Lord Justice Leveson that were delivered to us today.
But here's the interesting bit. The Deputy Prime Minister then stepped up to make his own statement, the first time this has happened with a government since 1932.
Lord Justice Leveson has considered these issues at length. He has found that changing the law is the only way to guarantee a system of self-regulation which seeks to cover all of the press.
So yes, what we're talking about is a major government split. Mr Clegg now siding with Mr Miliband on this. They certainly do have the support of victims who are very angry with David Cameron.
Well, it just seemed uncanny that it's incredibly odd that he appoints Lord Justice Leveson to hold an inquiry, to await the results, says if they're not bonkers that he'll implement them. They're not bonkers, he's not implementing them.
The key question now, will Mr Cameron command a parliamentary majority if and when this comes to a vote? And if not, what then? It may be a long and complex battle. Tom Bradby, ITV News at Westminster.